So, John, what's the worst time you've ever been locked in or out of somewhere?
Well, I was locked in school once. That wasn't much fun.
You were locked in school?
Overnight, yes.
Whoa.
True story, yeah. So I used to get a lot of detentions for tardiness, believe it or not.
Tardiness? You're late?
Yes. Me,
Wow,
believe it or not, yeah.
I'd love to say that I'm surprised.
Yeah. Actually, I think it was also for homework not done, maybe. Or maybe it was like so much tardiness that I ended up getting like a ridiculous like 90-minute detention. It kind of... Normally you get like half an hour, don't you? And it just kind of kept extending and extending until I got like a...
Well, I think your teachers were probably like, hey, John has wasted a lot of our time, so...
We're going to waste a lot of his. Yeah, that might have been... Well, it backfired. Because I was sat in the library on my own. I was about 14 or maybe 15. I was sat in the library on my own at like 5 o'clock and I fell asleep, like studying. I was bored. I was the only one there. The librarian must have forgotten I was in there. I must have been behind a bookcase or something, I don't know. Or maybe she was being vindictive, who knows. But she left. I woke up and I was suddenly in a darkened room and there was no one around. And as soon as I left the library, I triggered the alarms. And so all the burglar alarms started going off, which was very scary because my school was a big old Catholic building, very, very big, lots of long corridors. So, and then I kind of ran downstairs, managed to open the door from the inside. Thankfully, it was the kind of lock that you could do that with, and just fled into the night. Left the doors wide open, the alarms blaring, just ran and didn't say a word to anyone. Didn't tell my parents where I'd been.
Like ever? Well,
no, the next day the deputy head came into our form room and kind of beckoned me with one finger, and she said, I know what you did.
What you did? Like, the teachers abandoned you in the school.
Well, this is it. She said, I know what you did. If this ever happens again, you'll be in a lot of trouble, but let's never speak of this again. And I was like, at the time, I was pathetically grateful. In retrospect, boy, did she dodge a bullet. Like, that was so not my fault. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Very good story.
Yeah, I'm surprised I've not told that one before, to be honest. Yeah.
No.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome everybody to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where today we are pitching prequels, sequels and spin-offs to Panic Room, part of our Trapped In series.
Yeah, it's a vague season theme, but we're running with it.
Yeah. Films where you're locked in somewhere. We did Get Out, now we're doing Panic Room.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll also be pitching some drinking games and hearing from our listeners with submissions they've posted on Facebook and Twitter. But first, we're going to talk about some of our favourite moments from the movie and give a bit of a plot summary. I'm Harry, the host with the most chance of surviving if I was locked in my house.
I mean, I don't think you'd notice anything different for at least a month, so...
You're probably right. I don't actually think I've left the house today at all. Yeah. And joining me as always, the host who might not even make it through the weekend without a food run, is John Lucas.
I mean, fair. I just like to keep things fresh. I'm not a big fan of non-perishables. Sue me.
Yeah, sure, okay. How's that worked out for you?
Well, so far, not so bad. I don't know.
How are the fish doing? Are they alive?
The fish are alive and well, yeah.
Cool.
Well, alive.
Good.
Yeah,
Oh dear. So Panic Room.
Yes, this was a me choice.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
I really enjoyed it.
Good.
Yeah, I had a really good time with this.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I remember this film from when it came out because it was quite a big hit, actually. It's one of those films that was like really big at the time and then kind of nobody really talks about it anymore. But it made like over $100 million, so it was a big hit. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I remember seeing it and liking it, but it wasn't one I was like really desperate to revisit. It just kind of fit with the theme, so I thought, oh, that'll do. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this film. It's the kind of thriller that I really like, where it kind of gives you a scenario and it doesn't waste a lot of time, but it doesn't insult your intelligence in the way a lot of these things do with stupid plot twists that don't make any sense. For the most part, the characters, it just kind of puts them in a scenario and it lets them kind of figure their way out. And it's like you're watching mostly intelligent people, with a few exceptions, doing intelligent things. And
we'll get to that.
Yeah, but ultimately you can. I found it quite relatable in terms of the behaviours of the characters. Again, with some caveats, but yeah, I thought it was a really well done, tightly made, interesting little thriller. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I really like how it was just, it very quickly sets up, here's the situation now, let's just go with it.
Yeah, there's not much. I mean, could you even tell me what Jodie Foster's character is called?
No,
she's just Lady.
Yeah.
Lady in
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. It's not exactly a big character piece, but it just, once it sets up its premise, it's pretty good. It just really like puts you in there.
It's called a panic room.
What?
A safe room. A castle keep in medieval time.
I've read about these.
They're quite in vogue in high-end construction right now. One really can't be too careful about home invasion.
This is perfect. The alarm goes off in the middle of the night. What are you going to do? Call the police and wait till Tuesday? Traipse downstairs in your underthings to check it out? I think not.
Board concrete walls, buried phone line not connected to the house's main line. You can call the police, nobody can cut you off. You have your own ventilation system, a bank of surveillance monitors that covers nearly every corner of the house.
This whole thing makes me nervous. Why? Ever read any Poe? No, but I loved her last album.
Do you want to give a plot summary then?
I will, yeah. It's a pretty straightforward plot. This shouldn't be too difficult. So, the film stars Jodie Foster as Lady. I did look it up. She's called Meg, but it doesn't matter. She is a wealthy, well, seemingly very wealthy, recently divorced woman. She's just recently separated from her very well-known, rich and famous tech husband.
Bill Gates,
essentially, yeah. But anyway, so she's separated and she's moving into a new house in Manhattan with her 10-year-old daughter, played by 10-year-old Kristen Stewart, or very young Kristen Stewart, pre-Twilight Kristen Stewart. So they're moving into this house. The opening scene kind of sets up, really, the opening scene is full exposition dump, where they get this guided tour of this fabulous kind of 3 or 4 story mansion, which must cost an absolute bomb. It's far too big for them.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, like I never understood why they needed it.
No, me neither.
There's just the two of them. She even says that
she didn't seem to particularly want a panic room.
No, not. She seemed actively against the idea.
Yeah, and so why are you buying a house with a panic room? Why are you buying a house this big? Like you'd have like 2 stories each.
They need like a 2-bedroom flat tops.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I think the estate agent lady says something along the lines of, "You could have a cat and a dog and a whole second family." And okay, sure, but she doesn't seem to have any of these things.
No, no.
And I don't know if she's really going to have a hold of a family at this point in her life, you know.
No.
But yeah, for plot reasons, she buys this house on the same day.
Yeah. It's not very clear, but yeah, it must be a very quick turnaround.
To be fair, no, they do say it's 2 weeks because then when things happen, there's a whole joke around that. When Jared Leto breaks in and he's like, they shouldn't have been here for 3 weeks. And then it turns out he can't count days. But we'll get to Jared Leto and how he is doing the most in this movie.
Yeah.
But before him, I did actually really like this opening bit though, just because it felt like the woman playing the estate agent was really beefing up what was essentially a very small part. She felt like she thought she was the star of the movie in this one scene. She's got this like fantastic bright red wig, this fur coat. She's given this Cruella de Vil kind of meets Meryl Streep in Devil Wears Prada kind of vibe. She keeps shouting at little Kristen Stewart like, "Hey kid, no skating in the house." She just seemed like she was really camping it up a little bit. I liked it.
Yeah.
Very silly. Anyway, doesn't matter. So yes, Kristen Stewart and Jodie Foster, they move into this house. It has a panic room because it was previously owned by some kind of reclusive millionaire who we are told has a bad relationship with his family and his kids are all squabbling over his will. So he installed this panic room as a security measure, and now obviously Jodie Foster has moved in and it is now hers.
Yeah.
So we kind of rejoin them after they bought the house. They have moved in, they turn in for the night, and then immediately what happens? Oh no, the house gets broken into.
Yeah.
By a trio of thieves or criminals. We have Jared Leto, who is the grandson of the previous owner of the house. Yeah. And then we have Forrest Whitaker, who designs panic rooms.
Yes. It's unclear why he's turned to a life of crime.
No, they make some vague references to how like he needs the money for his family or something.
Yeah.
He's obviously in a bad way, but he seems to be like the least criminal of the criminals.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I don't hurt people. I don't want to do this well as a kid in the house. I don't want to do this well as a woman in the house. It's like he wants to bail straight away, but he gets pressured into continuing.
Yeah.
And then there's also Raoul, who's a balaclavaed psychopath.
I love the names.
Oh yeah,
Raoul Burnham, and I think Jared Leto is just Junior.
yeah,
In IMDb, that's his name, Junior.
yeah. That's it. Everyone's just like stock in this film. Everyone's just like stock character.
Yeah.
But in a good way, like not in a bland way. I liked how the three villains all had their own personalities.
Yeah.
Because Forrest Whitaker's quite,
He's good-hearted.
This kind of-
He's a non-violent criminal.
essentially, yeah, he's the conflicted one.
Yeah.
Then you've got Raoul is just pure psychopath.
Yeah.
And Jared Leto is essentially comic relief.
He's a wild card. He's a bit try-hard.
He's very try-hard.
Yeah.
Jared Leto in this movie. I'm used to Jared Leto like chewing scenery, but in this film he really was doing so very much.
Did you enjoy him?
I did. I found him a lot of fun, and I was kind of sad when they killed him.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
I think I like him better as characters like this when you don't have to take him seriously.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of him in this film is that he's just ridiculous. So that works. It's in other films I just find him a little bit, I don't know. This film used everyone really well, because sometimes I find Forrest Whitaker to be a bit hammy.
Yeah.
There are certain times, like in Rogue One, for example, sometimes he really is guilty of chewing the scenery to the extent where you're just like, okay, calm down. But in this, he was really good. He was really restrained and like kind of the heart and soul of the film in many ways.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah. So they break in, and apparently the previous owner has left his millions hidden in the house.
Yes.
Not only that, he's left them hidden in the panic room.
In the safe in the panic room.
In the safe in the panic room. So that's where they need to be. They expected the house to be empty because Jared Leto miscalculated how many days there are in a fortnight, which was a detail that I found quite funny.
14 days, 3 weeks.
Yeah, that is an insane turnaround to buy a house sight unseen, especially a house that big, and just move into it. Like,
Yeah.
I guess if you're a millionaire,
No, it would have made more sense if, like, she was trying to get away from something, get out of something. Like, I assumed that she was trying to get out of a dodgy marriage.
oh, like it was like a safe house, like she was being abused or something.
No, well, maybe, but not necessarily that, but just like she's going through a very stressful divorce or something, and she just wants to be moved out of her ex-husband's house. But then,
Well, I think she is.
But then when he comes later in the film, he's perfectly all right. Like,
Well, I mean,
he doesn't seem like a bad guy at all. He just seems like he got remarried.
Sure. Well, I think it's supposed to be that he dumped her for like a young supermodel or something, or
Yeah.
So I think it has been quite a stressful situation. It probably has happened quite quickly for her.
Sure.
Well, obviously, with their kid being in mortal danger, they kind of band together in the stress of the situation.
Yeah.
Not that he's any help whatsoever.
No,
But,
God, he's the
yeah.
worst.
He just makes things worse, but but we'll get to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't show up just yet.
What the fuck is this? There's a little girl on the top floor. There's a woman on the third. They're both asleep. They're not supposed to be here.
This is your department, Junior.
They are not supposed to be here.
Videotape.
What?
We're on videotape. We've been on videotape since we got within 10 feet of this place. And the tapes are upstairs.
14 days, girl.
Fuck to me, man.
14 days, girl, man. That's almost 3 weeks. They should not be in here for another week.
Exactly how is 14 days, 3 weeks?
Business days. Escrow is always business days. 5-day weeks, always.
Yes, so when they realise that Jodie Foster and Kristen Stewart are in the house, they panic. Forrest Whitaker wants to bail straight away,
Luckily,
but
they have a room for that.
you threw me off now, you bastard.
They panic.
So,
Forrest
yes.
Whitaker comes in.
Yes, so Forrest Whitaker wants to bail, but Jared Leto's very insistent that they just do it tonight. Which again didn't make a lot of sense because they just want to get into that room. Why not just watch the house and wait till it's empty, then break into it?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, but obviously that's just a thing that had to happen for this movie to happen.
Well, maybe they wanted to get into the house before, like, all the security systems were activated.
Actually, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the panic room is probably default to being closed.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I take that one back. That probably does make sense. See, this movie's well scripted. When you dig into it, there's not that many holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while they're discussing this, Jodie Foster wakes up, goes to get herself a nice bottle of Evian. We'll discuss that later.
We will.
And as she goes back, she walks into the panic room, and as she's going in, the panic room, I should probably explain the setup. So the panic room is a hidden room that's behind like solid steel metal doors. Mm-hmm. It's all automated. It's got its own ventilation system. It's got its own phone lines. Mm-hmm. It's wired up to security cameras all over the house. It's just got a wall of screens where you can see every inch of the house, basically. Mm-hmm. So it's a spy's dream and a horny teenager's nightmare. So I don't know why Kristen Stewart... in a few years, she's going to regret being so keen to move into the house, even if this hadn't have happened. So, but yes, so while she gets up to go to the bathroom, she looks at the monitors and she sees that there are 3 intruders in the house. So she immediately runs, grabs Kristen Stewart and drags her into the panic room. The criminals obviously realise what's happening. They chase her, but she manages to get in time.
Just in the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time, of course. So she slams the door closed.
Now, there is one thing that when they're getting shown around the house at the start, she says, like, oh, that's good. That door looks like it's a bit of a hazard. And then the estate agent shows her, like, no, it's fine. It's like an elevator door. If you put your hand between it, it won't close on you. That never comes up again. In fact, it gets actively ignored.
Yeah, I wondered that too. How come
I was really expecting, like, in one of the... Like, multiple times, she runs into the panic room just at the last minute as Forrest Whitaker's right there and he's just about to get her. And I really was expecting some point someone... He just puts his hand around the door.
Yeah.
And it just stops and then opens and then she's like, well, shit. But
yeah, and also the other guy gets his hand actively mashed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't understand that either. Is it only, like, certain points? Is it like lasers where you have to hit a certain...
it was, but, like, they didn't do their job at all.
Yeah.
Like, that would be an easy thing to cut out of the movie.
Sure. But yes, so they're in the room now, which causes Jared Leto to have the first of many massive tantrums. Mm-hmm. So now the movie is essentially set up as how the criminals need to get in. She's not coming out, obviously. But she can't call the police because she hasn't set up the secondary phone line yet.
Yeah.
So she's trapped. She can't contact anyone. It's the middle of the night. No one's going to find out about them. And now the criminals have got to figure out a way to get in somehow. And they never tell her what they want, which I didn't understand why she didn't just ask what they wanted.
Yeah.
Because it's not her money they're trying to steal. No. So she doesn't know this money exists until... I mean, does she ever find out? The end, maybe?
The daughter does, definitely, but yeah, I'm not sure if she does.
Because I'd be like, what do you want? When they say... So she says, take what you want and get out. And they say, well, what we want is in this room, so you need to come out this room. And she's like, absolutely no way, understandably. But if I was in that position, I'd probably be like, okay, what do you want that's in this room? Go downstairs, I can see you on the cameras, wait downstairs, I will leave it outside the door, you take that and fuck off.
Yeah.
I can only assume they thought, well, we're not telling her there's $3 million in here, because she'll want to keep it.
I guess, but like, I think it was more like, I don't know, like $8 million or something like that, but even so...
It kept going up, it was like $40 million by the end. But
well, whatever, it still feels like that's only going to be like a month's rent on this place.
Yes, yeah, true. Yeah, it's pocket change to her.
Yeah. But yeah, you're totally right. Like she never at one point wonders what it is that they're after. Because like her daughter has a look through all the crates and stuff, and it's like here's food and fire blankets and stuff like that, and medicine and stuff. But there's nothing of any value.
Yeah.
And so that they just never want. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. I mean, that's not a problem with the film. That's a problem with the characters, and I have so many problems with decisions that people make.
Okay.
So I think the first bit was about now, actually, in the plot. The 3 criminals are down on the ground floor in the kitchen, I think, and Jodie Foster announces on the tannoy, just like, get out of my house.
Yes.
And then they start communicating, so they start writing things on paper, holding up to the cameras. Now, at this point, they are at least 2 full stories below her.
Yes.
And they can't see her. They don't know what she's doing, where she is. I mean, they assume she's in the panic room, which she is. She has no way of contacting anybody, but she knows that she has a mobile phone in, like, just outside of the door.
Well, you can probably say that she maybe forgot at the moment. In the stress of the situation, I don't think it's the first thing she thinks of.
But come on, Jodie Foster, sort yourself out.
She's doing her best. She's had a stressful day. She's had a bit of wine, she's been woken up in the middle of the night. Take some time.
When Kristen Stewart says... Could we use that phone? And she says, no, I've not wired it up yet. My first thought then would be like, okay, where's your mobile? Oh, you just left it on your bedside table outside of this door. Okay, how am I going to get out with those criminals there? Oh, wait a minute, they've gone downstairs. Boom.
Well,
and it
she
takes
gets
her
there
a good
eventually.
hour to actually think of that, and then they're just nearby.
True, yeah.
Useless.
Well,
Useless. I'd be way better in this situation.
I'm sure you would, Harry. I'm sure you would. So, yeah, so the criminals are trying to figure out how to get into the room. Forrest Whitaker's like, there's no way to get into the room. I designed this room specifically so people like us couldn't get in.
Yeah.
Like, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But Jared Leto and Raoul are just not accepting this at all. So they start, like, trying to break down the very foundations of the house.
Yes.
Which seemed incredibly stupid to me. Like, they're literally bashing away at the ceiling beneath that's holding this room from the room below it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I
they're
don't know
just
how
bashing away at the plaster. Like, the steel girders that are holding the house together, like, they can't do anything about them.
Yeah, I suppose.
And
Okay.
that's what's blocking them. Like, they're trying to get to the safe, but there's too many steel girders in the way.
Okay. Well, anyway, so that doesn't work, unsurprisingly. So then they decide to. Forrest Whitaker comes up with the plan to try and gas them out.
I love this plan.
So, yeah.
I mean, initially it was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I had some questions, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
So he knows where it's hooked up to the ventilation. So he breaks into the ventilation and puts some methane, I guess.
Something, yeah.
And he says, we're not going to kill them because if they die, they're screwed, essentially. They can't just kill them because then there'll just be 2 dead bodies in the room that they need and there'll be no way to get into it.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're not killing them, we're just scaring them, we're just pumping a little bit in to show them that we have this ability. But then Raoul fully, like, pumps up the gas to the max. He's like, takes no prisoners.
Yeah.
So then the room's rapidly filling up with methane.
Which
obviously
I loved it because it really just shows, like, oh, this is a criminal who is literally mad. He has no
Yes.
logic. Like, Forrest Whitaker says, hey, if they pass out, they can't open the door. Like, just like you said, if they die, then that's it, game over for everybody.
Yeah.
And this guy's still carrying on. It's great.
Yeah, Raoul has no backstory whatsoever. He had absolutely no... Like, he had a personality. His personality was psycho. But, like, there was no context for who he was whatsoever. At one point, like, when they're talking about guns at the beginning, and he pulls out his pistol, and then Forrest Whitaker says, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Raoul." That's all he's got to say. That's all we ever learn about Raoul.
Great.
Wait, stop. 20 minutes now before I can unpack my bags.
So, we keep an eye on her. Raoul can totally administrate that part.
I don't want Raoul to administrate that part. He's not even supposed to be here.
Nobody gets hurt.
What about us? What if she has a gun? Who are you?
I'm Raoul.
So they're pumping the methane into the panic room. Jodie Foster and the kid start coughing. They realise what's wrong. She starts frantically trying to seal up the ventilators, but the power of the gas is stronger than the duct tape that she's putting down. So I guess The Rock was wrong about duct tape in some situations. So that's not really working. And then she hits up on this insane idea.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what else are you going to do?
True. So her idea is to light the methane and basically blow up the wall.
Yeah.
And it's a great comedy moment in the film, like comedy and tension at the same time, because you've got Jared Leto fully like pressing his ear against the wall, like, what are they doing in there? Like, it could not be asking for it more. And then meanwhile she's like got one of those like long plastic lighters, and she's sticking it around the bend of the ventilator. She puts Kristen Stewart under a fire blanket, which good common sense.
Yep.
She wraps one around herself, and then she finally flicks it, and it's like the panic room becomes the mountains of Mordor. It's this giant blue flame, like this blue hot flame. Which blue flames are hotter than red flames, right?
Pardon?
Blue. When a flame is blue, that means it's like super hot, right?
I think so, maybe. I mean, flames do burn different colours depending on what is burning, what element is burning.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking most gases are like, I'm not great with the science, but aren't most gases heavier than oxygen? Most like explosive gases.
I don't know.
Surely
I have
they'd be
no
burnt
idea.
to a crisp.
Helium's not, and that's explosive.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was helium then, fine.
I mean, this one was not helium, but either way, doesn't matter.
Actually, it would be really funny if this was helium and just in this incredibly intense scene, Jodie Foster and Kristen Stewart's voices just got sippy sippy! That would actually have been great. I would have loved that. But anyway, whatever the gas is, whatever this very light gas is, Jodie Foster ignites it. Her and Kristen Stewart hit the deck under these fire blankets, so they are It's miraculously okay. Massive explosion. Jared Leto is fully on fire.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
He is horribly burned. Again, no neighbours hear anything. Like, this is another thing I had. Like, the neighbours don't hear shit.
Like, the gas tank explodes as well. It's not just
literally.
one
Can you
explosion,
imagine?
multiple explosions.
Yeah. Can you imagine being next door? I don't care what time of night it is. You'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess this is a testament to New York and how well they ignore their neighbours.
Yeah. I loved the line that Jared Leto gives after this. Like, they go downstairs, and I think Raoul's looking at his injuries or something, and and Jared Leto's all pissed off, and he says, "My plastic surgeon's going to hear about this."
He really was giving us like full comic relief in this movie.
He was, yeah.
They should cast him as the comic relief more often. I think it might be his hidden talent.
Yeah.
Like, he's so ridiculous in every way, but I don't think a lot of his film roles really lean into that. So
No.
so that hasn't worked. Meanwhile, Jodie Foster and Kristen Stewart have found another exit, like another oxygen source.
Yeah,
There's a little hole.
a pipe, like a drain or something.
Yes. So they find that and they try. Well, first of all, it helps them oxygen-wise because it means when they're trying to gas them, they can get some fresh air, which is helpful. And then also they try and use that to SOS, which I thought was a stretch.
It was a stretch, but
It was a long shot, and I felt
what
like
this
the
film's built
disadvantage. Sorry,
that's what this film is built on.
it is, but I felt like the risk of giving away the location of their oxygen source, which is a pretty important thing for them, by flashing a light down it constantly, maybe outweighs the very slim possibility that someone's going to see that and go, "Oh, they're doing SOS." But yeah, anyway, yeah, Kristen Stewart starts flashing SOS in Morse code because she saw it on Titanic. It briefly works. They attract the attention of a neighbour who then immediately just pulls the blinds.
But then, like, at the key moment of it working, like, the neighbour looks, and the neighbour's like, "Oh, what's that? What's that flashing thing over there?" Then they stop flashing and they start just shouting down this pipe. They're shouting across the street in a rainstorm, and they know it's a rainstorm. It's not a surprise to them. And they expect them to hear it, and no, not at all. And so he shuts his blinds. But
yeah,
then,
they really dropped the ball
despite
on that one.
It turns out, as we found out by the end of the film, that guy did call the police.
Yeah, just took them ages to respond. So yeah. So is this the point when Jared Leto decides to leave?
Yeah, I think so.
So he's just been blown up. He's very badly burnt, and he's like, you know what? Screw this.
No, I think this is the point actually where they're having a conversation just down that flight of stairs outside her bedroom door, and she's like, "Okay, now I'm going to make my move. Go out and get my mobile phone."
Oh yes, she does go for the mobile.
Yeah, which they really stretch out because it's under her bed, and it turns out she's really bad at reaching things.
Yeah. The amount of time she just kind of gets it with her fingers and just pushes it away.
Yeah.
It's like... Well, those little Nokias, they were hard to hold. They were very small. They weren't like the bricks we've got now. Hard to get a grasp on.
Sure, whatever.
Jodie Foster comes out of the panic room, does a runner for the mobile phone. They see what she's doing. They chase her up. She just manages to grab it in time and run back into the panic room.
Yeah.
Of course, there is no signal.
No, there's no signal.
Wouldn't have expected it. No, clearly not.
Even when she pokes it out of the little hole.
Yeah, but somehow she knows how to wire it up to to the main line.
It's not that, actually. She then gets the idea, oh, wait a minute, there's a phone line in the wall, which I don't know how she knows.
Is this the one that's supposed to be dedicated purely to the panic room that she forgot to hook up?
No, it's not. It's a bit misleading, to be honest.
Yeah, I was confused by this. I didn't know how it worked. But...
Yeah, no, it's very confusing. So, it turns out there is part of the house phone line, not the panic room phone line.
Okay.
There's an outlet in the connecting wall of the bedroom and the panic room.
Oh, because they cut the telephones off, don't they, when they realise what she's doing?
Yeah. So,
and that's where the call cuts out.
Yeah, like Forrest Whitaker just unscrews this phone outlet just at the bottom of the wall, and he just stands there and watches as this wire moves a little bit, and then suddenly gets pulled into the wall by Jodie Foster. Meanwhile, Kristen Stewart has ripped the panic room phone off the wall, and then they just wire it up, which, I don't know, I guess works. Sure, whatever.
Yeah. Kristen Stewart is the most resourceful 10-year-old I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, she's great.
Like, she's so self-possessed.
Yeah.
Like, she gives good advice, like, from beginning to end. Like, from the first scene, she gives good advice. Like, she's like, Mom, you don't need to pay the asking price for this house.
Yeah.
It's not like a department store. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, she's unflappable. So Jodie Foster manages to hook up the mobile phone to the landline, tries to call the police, but what happens? Why does she call
They put her on hold.
They put her on hold, yes. So
Which is ridiculous. Like, she calls up, says, "Hello, 911? Great. There's 3 men in my house. Okay, let me just put you on hold." That's... No, that is not how emergency services work.
Well, maybe in America they do. You know.
Maybe in America it's shit.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying that maybe that's...
Like,
yeah, maybe that's the reality of public services in America.
There's 3 men in my house. They'd be like, "Okay, are you in a safe place?
Yeah.
Can you talk?"
Well, technically.
Like, are you in immediate danger?
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't put you on hold.
No, true. I mean, to be fair, the answer to those questions is yes and no.
Yeah, I mean,
she is in a safe space and she's not in immediate danger.
I'm not an emergency services call receiver or whatever.
No.
And already I can think of more things to ask before I put somebody on hold.
No, absolutely. Yes,
They've probably got a lot more questions that they've thought of.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, she hangs up on them and she calls her husband instead. Yeah. And just before Forrest Whitaker and co. clue into what she's doing and yank out the phone lines, she manages to get enough information to him.
Get past her husband's new partner.
Get past the bitchy girlfriend.
Yeah.
Who was voiced by Nicole Kidman.
Oh, really?
Yes, because Nicole Kidman was supposed to star in this movie.
Yeah.
But then she hurt her knee, so then Jodie Foster kind of stepped in at the last minute.
Okay, yeah.
And so they just put her in as a little voice cameo just to give her something to do, I guess.
Yeah.
I think Jodie Foster is better for this kind of film.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like Nicole Kidman a lot, but I think Jodie Foster is much better like as an action kind of star. She's more physical, I think.
Yeah.
And so this kind of really works for her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Stephen.
Hello.
Put Stephen on the line.
Who is this?
It's Meg.
Do you know what time it is?
Put him on the phone, bitch.
It's your fucking wife.
So yes, she calls the husband. And it's at this point, I think, that Jared Leto's like, you know what, screw this, I'm out of here. Because they're panicking now because they think the police might be on their way, might very well be on their way.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you know what, I don't need this money. He let slip that there's actually a lot more money in that panic room than he originally...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Let on. He said there was like 3 million. It turns out there's like 40 million in there or something. And he's actually getting... well, he would be if he wasn't so stupid. He would be getting some of that money anyway because he is a direct relative of the previous owner, but he wanted all of it. He got greedy, so that's why he set up this robbery. And he's like, oh, you know what, I'm going to inherit 3 million anyway, so bye guys. And then Raoul shoots him dead in the head.
Which his plastic surgeon will be hearing about.
He will, absolutely, yes. That's going to be a big one, definitely. Yeah, I guess it was probably a good time to get rid of Jared Leto because he was pure comic relief, and then the film really goes to super tension when it's just the other two guys.
Yeah.
But I was sad to see him go because he was very entertaining with his tantrums and his complete inadequacy for being a criminal.
I liked his...
He was way over his head.
I liked his dead body face. Did you notice it?
No, I didn't
the
actually.
face of pure fear. It was like something out of Scream.
Fantastic. So this leaves Forrest Whitaker and Raoul. What happens then? Oh, then the husband arrives immediately after Jared Leto gets shot, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jared Leto's just been shot. They're dealing with that situation. Oh, Jodie Foster can see that because she's still watching on the security cameras. So obviously Kristen Stewart is terrified. She's like, don't look at it, don't look at it. Yeah, then the husband turns up at the door, is dragged in, and then they try and use him as a bargaining tool, basically. The criminals start using him, like they put him in front of the camera, they start beating the shit out of him. Or rather Raoul does. Forrest Whitaker's still like, I don't hurt people.
Yeah.
The criminals are basically saying, if you don't let us in, we're going to kill your husband. But Jodie Foster's not buying it. She won't open the door until Kristen Stewart has a convenient diabetic attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
I love the way that
every
she,
kid in
that
it
she said it. Mum, I was trying not to tell you. I'm tired and hungry.
So dramatic.
What a weird way to say it.
I know.
Also, they've not actually explicitly said that she has diabetes at this point.
No, I think they hinted at it.
There's a lot of hints, and it does leave you thinking, like, okay, what's the kid's problem?
Yeah. You keep asking like, how her blood sugar is. Yeah.
I guess that's diabetes, but if I didn't know those symptoms, I'd be very confused.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's an action movie, Harry. Every kid in an action movie either has diabetes or asthma.
Yeah.
There are no healthy children in action movies. They always have to have something non-fatal but potentially fatal to ramp up the tension when needs be. And that is exactly what this is.
Yeah.
So she starts having a diabetic attack,
I guess.
slipping into a diabetic coma. I don't know. She turns a bit blue and her toes curl up, So once again, Jodie Foster needs to leave the panic room to get her insulin. So she runs out again to try and get the insulin. But in that time, the criminals get back in. They get into the room, and she's locked out. So they switched places now.
Yeah, that's right. So she chases them back to her room, basically. Forrest Whitaker gets in, and Raoul also gets in, but he just happens to be leaning against the wall when the door slams closed.
Yes.
And it just flattens his fingers. Yeah. And I didn't realise until later on when the door opens, it actually chopped the tips off. He picks up the tips of his fingers.
Oh yeah,
off the floor.
They are mashed.
Yeah.
And that's the first time we see his face as well. He's been in like a full balaclava for the whole movie. So
yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, it ends up with Raoul and Forrest Whitaker and Kristen Stewart in the panic room. Jodie Foster's now locked outside.
Yeah.
And so she's just like, can you please, my daughter's going to die, will you please give her insulin? And Forrest Whitaker, like, Raoul is fully out of action because he's still got his hand trapped in the door, so he can't really do anything.
Yeah.
He's just there whimpering. And Forrest Whitaker it kind of melts his cold heart, and he gives the girl the insulin injection that she needs, so she comes around, she's okay. Meanwhile, they do manage to find the money, which is in the floorboards of the panic room.
Yeah, underneath
it's a hidden compartment kind of thing.
A space for a safe.
Yes. And I had a question. So the money is in bonds.
Yes.
How? I don't really use bonds, but how would they expect to use this money? Because I thought, like, it's not exactly unmarked bills, is it? Isn't that going to be, like, incredibly traceable?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. I don't know what the end game was with this at all.
No, me neither.
Like, there's no way at this point they're going to be able to just walk out and spend that money.
No.
It's just not going to happen.
No. I was expecting it was going to be in bars of gold.
Yeah, gold or just unmarked bills, classic.
Yeah.
Why bonds? I guess because it needed the shot at the end when they all blow away, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so how does she get them to come out again? I can't remember now. Or do they come out of their own accord?
They come out of their own accord, I think.
Okay. With, like, Kristen Stewart at gunpoint.
But, yeah.
The police come out. The police come out.
But in the meantime, she's knocked out all the cameras, and then she's set up a little obstacle course for them.
Yeah, that's it. She's home alone them.
Yeah. Imagine having a house so big that you could choose multiple paths of ways to travel through the house.
Yeah. It's the dream.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they attempt to escape using Kristen Stewart as a hostage. And then...
Oh, that's it. On the ground floor, she's nursed her ex-husband back to some health.
Yeah, she's kind of propped him up in a chair.
Yeah, and she's put Raoul's gun in his hand and just pointed him at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah, again, I would just keep hold of that gun myself, Jodie Foster. I would not trust it in the hands of a man who may drop dead at any moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not going to be a good shot, and spoiler alert, he's not a good shot.
Yeah, and so she then uses that as a way to get her daughter's freedom again.
Yeah, well, they're all coming out, and there is a little shoot-off. There's a little kind of shoot-off, isn't there? Forrest Whitaker does a full runner.
Well,
Jodie Foster creeps up behind Raoul and smacks him around the head with a sledgehammer.
Yes, and he falls down. He falls down over the banister, like, not down some stairs, onto some stairs, like a full story height.
Oh yeah, at this point he fully gets invincible criminal syndrome.
Yeah.
He has an unusable hand, and he's been hit in the head with a sledgehammer and fallen down a massive flight of stairs, and then he comes straight back up again, grabs the hammer himself somehow, punches Kristen Stewart full in the face, which I must admit I kind of screamed at.
What, he punched a 10-year-old girl?
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting it.
No,
it wasn't that I found it funny, I just was so not expecting it. I was just like, whoa, this movie really went somewhere.
Yeah.
He punches her square in the face, and then he starts, like, throttling. Then he like pins down Jodie Foster. He's about to smack her over the head with the hammer. Forrest Whitaker is just about to hop over the wall. He's got the money. He's escaping, but then he hears the screaming, and he can't bring himself to leave the family. So he runs back in, saves the day, shoots Raoul through the head, or through the chest or something. He's finally dead, and then he does try to run away, but it's too late. The police have now fully arrived, surrounded the property, and the film ends with him being arrested and holding up his hands and dropping all the bombs, which dramatically fly away onto the breeze. He's lost everything, and then we just get a pre-credit scene of. It's kind of pointless, really, just of Jodie Foster and the kid, like, surprise, surprise, looking for another house. They're not going to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
But, and that ends the film, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward, very silly, quite a good time.
Yeah, I fully enjoyed this one. I definitely wanted to see like a post-credit scene where Jodie Foster calls the estate agent lady. And she's like, we need to talk. Yeah. Or that they hired a cleaner to like clean up the mess of what was left of that house. Like that could be its own thing. But yeah. No, but on the whole, yeah, I found this to be very enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Any more thoughts, or do you want to move on to drinking games?
Nah, let's go on to drinking games. So, first of all, drink for Evian bottles.
Yes, I'm glad you noticed this too. If this was product placement, and it must have been, it really got its money's worth, because there was Evian in so many shots, and it's really not remotely subtle.
No.
So every time she opens that fridge, it's like the bottles are all turned strategically so you can see them at just the right angle. And it even becomes a plot point. She uses that Evian bottle to wake the daughter up. So yeah. Yeah, Evian definitely should be fair billed in this movie. Mm-hmm. It should be Jodie Foster, Kristen Stewart, Evian, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Drink every time somebody enters or exits the panic room.
Yeah, I've got that as well. Drink whenever the door opens or closes.
Yep, just a good standard one.
Yeah. Drink for CGI camera movements.
Oh yeah, that was the way you could tell it was a David Fincher. It was very tricks. It was very like showy offy with its camera angles.
Yeah, like
which I didn't dislike.
Here's a one shot of a key going into a lock, and then we're going to fly through the kitchen, upstairs, all the way to the panic room, and yes.
Yeah, it's like we know how keys work, David.
Yeah. Here's the air conditioning vent, the full distance of it.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, here's one that you might have some thoughts on. Drink every time you question a decision made by a character in this film.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So you said you had quite a few. Do you want to run through some of the ways in which you would have been better at this than either Jodie Foster or the criminals?
Well, the criminals, they realised later on, why didn't we destroy all the cameras?
Yes, that made me laugh. Yeah, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah, of course you would. When you realise there's cameras everywhere, destroy. Easy.
Yeah, have one so you can communicate with her. That's all you need.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and Jodie Foster not getting the phone, stupid. Not hooking up the panic room phone right away.
Yeah,
I get
she's a
that's
busy woman,
a bit of a
know.
hindsight thing, but you move into a house with a panic room for a reason.
Sure.
So hook up the panic room phone.
I mean, I would if I was moving into a house and it was like, oh, by the way, this house has a panic room. I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to live here. Maybe this is a sign that this is a high risk property.
Yeah.
Why does this house need a panic room?
Also, if going down the panic room route again, probably put the insulin shot in the panic room. It's a room for panicking.
It's their first night. Cut her some slack. She wanted to have some wine and cry in the bathtub. She didn't expect this to happen.
Whatever. And just talk to the police.
Talk to the police, sure. It'd be a shorter movie.
I've also got drink for injuries and drink for disagreements.
Disagreements, okay. Oh, drink every time Forrest Whitaker says, I don't hurt people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that'll definitely get you nice and pissed.
Sure, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, before we get to sequels, listeners, me and John are very good at what we do, or we think so anyway, but maybe you think so too. So, if you do, why not support us on Patreon for whatever you think we're worth? However good you think we are, that's the amount of money that you need to give us every month.
What's the monetary value of good?
$10?
Sure.
Great. $20? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you do, there's a few bonus things you get. We do a bonus show where we review films. Currently, we're doing it by request rather than what's in the cinema, but we're also trying to keep up with new releases as they come. Bit scarce, but we're doing our best.
Yeah, it's a difficult time.
Yeah. Another bonus feature you get, we do a 30-second advert slot on the main show where if you want to, you can talk about your own podcast or your own business or whatever you feel like. It's your time to shine, really. Once a month on the main show, we do a Patreon episode as well. So we'll invite one Patreon on. They choose the film for us. You can guest on it if you want to, but you don't have to. And what else do you get if you join Patreon? You get extended episodes and our exclusive Facebook group as well.
Yeah.
Is that everything?
Pretty much, yeah. And just to add that while the cinemas are closed, what we are doing is we're telling our patrons that we will review, in lieu of new releases, we will review anything they ask of us, whether it be a film that already has lots of sequels that we wouldn't really do on the main show, or a film that just wouldn't be suitable for the main show for whatever reason, or we'll even watch a specific episode of a TV show maybe, or a document. Who knows? It's something you'd be interested to hear us talk about. So yeah, just sign up and tell us what you want. Just either tweet us or email us or join the Facebook group and tell us what you want us to review. We'll do it.
Yeah, so all that is available at patreon.com/beyondtheboxset.
Indeed.
Okay, so for sequel, I think it's my turn first. Okay, well, I've not got a name for my sequel, so if you think of one along the way, please do.
Okay.
Yeah, so it starts off, it's 20 years later. Sarah, now in her early 30s, and raising...
So that's Kristen Stewart's character, yeah?
Kristen Stewart, yeah. Raising 2 young children by herself, is struggling to put ends together. Raising 2 children on a single salary, working in watch repair is difficult.
She's working in watch repair?
Yes.
Okay,
that comes up later.
Seems specific, but okay. So she's not inherited any of her mum's fabulous wealth. She's struggling financially.
For whatever reason, some reason that I've not been able to think up, she's estranged from her mother.
Okay.
Or both her parents. She's living completely independently of them and not on speaking terms.
Okay. I mean, I'd be surprised if the dad lived through the night, to be honest.
Yeah, me
he took
too.
quite a beating, so yeah.
I didn't really want to say it because I've got some other bleak stuff to come.
Oh, great. It's one of those sequels.
Yeah. So we see her going about her life, finishing her shift at work, opening her very empty purse to pay for groceries before picking the kids up from the sitter on her way home. Both the kids are hungry and unhappy because the cheap sitter isn't very good. Everything is very stressful.
Okay. How old are the kids?
Both under 10, I'd say.
Okay.
That evening over dinner, one of the children starts coughing loads. Coughs up a little bit of blood.
Oh, no.
Sarah manages to calm them down and sort them out a bit, but the next day she doesn't take them to school and takes them to hospital instead.
What, the next day? Her kid is coughing up blood and she takes her to the hospital the next day?
Yeah, immediately, sure, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, that's...
Hey, I'm not a dad.
No, you never should be on that. That's your attitude. Oh, I'm sure it'll pass. You're only coughing up blood. Just for the record, that's usually an emergency room situation.
Okay, cool.
Not a, let's see if it gets better situation.
Well, anyway.
Okay.
So the doctor gives an examination and comes out and asks to talk to Sarah privately. When she's sitting down, the doctor explains that the child has been diagnosed with cancer.
God, this is a bleak sequel.
But it gets there. There's a reason for this.
Okay, sure.
They say it's not the worst and it's very treatable. By the way, I've not looked up any of this to see if it's accurate. They estimate that with immediate chemotherapy, it'll be 98% effective, and the kid will be absolutely fine afterwards.
Okay.
However, if the treatment is delayed, the cancer could be fatal. So it's an act right now situation, and it's all going to be fine.
Okay, sure. I mean, I'm no doctor, so I'll just accept that.
Yeah, please do. The doctor asks if she has health insurance, and she doesn't. And so the doctor gives her a number of how much the estimated treatment will cost, and it's a lot. It's way more than she can afford. So she goes home with the child, and with a heavy heart, she calls her mum. For whatever reason, Jodie Foster and Kristen Stewart, like I say, they don't get on anymore. So she goes home with the child, and with a heavy heart, she calls her mum. Like I say, they don't get on. So we see from Jodie Foster's side, the phone rings, Sarah's name come up, and she just declines the call.
Oh, wow.
She won't speak to her daughter.
Stone cold, Jodie.
Yeah. So she doesn't know what's going down.
Sure.
But, yeah. So, yeah, everything's going to shit for Sarah. She cries herself to sleep while her child coughs in the other room. It's a very dark moment. The next day, she goes into work and she asks her boss for an advance so that she can afford the treatment.
Sure.
Her boss declines because he's a dickhead. But that afternoon, however, some men in masks come into the store and they rob her at gunpoint.
Right.
She thinks to herself, she could try and, sort of protest or anything, but she's like, no, this isn't my money, this is my boss's money, and he's an absolute dickhead. So,
sure.
Yeah, she just hands over the money without any trouble at all, just like, yeah, take it, please.
Mm-hmm.
She actually recognises one of the men now. They're all wearing masks, but she recognises one of the men's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, he's still robbing it 20 years later. First of all, he's out of prison.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, he served his time. Let's say 20 years passed. And he's straight back on the job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe he was only in prison for 5 years or 10 years. No idea.
Okay.
He only actually killed one person, and maybe...
Just the one.
And he was a very bad criminal. Maybe Jodie Foster stuck up for him a little bit.
Sure, okay,
and just
fine.
said, oh no, my husband, who, by the way, has conveniently died, he killed him, for all we know.
Sure, okay. Well, if all you need is for him to be out of prison and back on a life of crime, that's fine. It has been 20 years. Okay.
Yeah, so, like I say, she hands over the cash, no trouble at all. And as she does, she says, there you go, Burnham. Because that was his name from the first one.
Sure.
Yeah, her boss comes in from the back office and blames her for it. Just like, oh my god, you should have stuck up for it. Just like, not giving him the cash or anything. Gives her a right bollocking. Says that he's going to take the loss out of her wages. And she's like, well, fuck this shit. Rips her name badge off, slams it down on a counter, runs after the robbers.
How much did they steal?
I don't know, just like whatever was in the cash register, a few thousand.
A few thousand?
I don't know.
In a what shop?
A few hundred?
Yeah, I think a few hundred might be more realistic.
I don't know.
Probably not enough to give a child chemo on American health insurance.
John, I haven't worked in years, let alone worked in a shop.
Okay, fine. Carry on.
Yeah, so she chases after them and actually catches up with them and shouts to Burnham. And he says to the others to go, and he hangs back and talks to Sarah. Like, he recognises her as well now.
So what, she just chases them down the streets?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Taking some big stretches with this one, but fine.
I mean, did you watch the first film?
Yeah, sure. But I'm just like, she very quickly gets fired, and then just fortunately she quits. Fortunately, she can still see them like jogging down the street, just like, hey, wait up.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, sure.
Or a better way that they get in touch. I don't know.
Sure.
Well, anyway, they meet and they have a conversation. She explains her whole situation and how she needs money now to pay for the treatment now, and that'll save her kid's life. Mm-hmm. But she doesn't have any money.
Sure.
And so she's saying, hey, you're clearly making quick money somehow. Mm-hmm. Can I get in on this?
Okay, she wants to join his criminal enterprise.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And so he says, okay, come to this warehouse, gives her an address, tonight at 11, and ask for Klaus Zvrownik.
Klaus Zvrownik?
Yes.
Zvrownik.
Name, of course.
Okay.
Come alone, don't bring a phone, don't bring a weapon, you will be searched at the door.
Okay. Is that name from anywhere, or?
No, it's literally just a jumble of letters.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It's a Russian guy.
Sure, okay.
Maybe like a German-Russian guy.
Zvrownik, sure, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He will be played by John Malkovich, so that could
Great,
be better.
okay, no, that works, yeah.
Yeah. So that evening, she puts the kids down to sleep, quietly leaves. She goes to this warehouse and, as instructed, asks for Klaus Zvrownik, and after being cleared by the guy on the door, is let in. So, Klaus says something like, I hear you're looking for work. Yeah, I need money immediately. My child has cancer. I don't care about your problems. I only care about what you can do for me.
Oh,
so,
Klaus is after
what can
himself.
you do for me? Sorry?
Klaus Zvrownik's out for himself.
Yeah. Yeah. I repair watches for a living. I know a lot about clockwork, so if you need an expert safecracker or something like that, I'm your woman.
Ah, okay.
Well, we can always use safecrackers, and people with their heads screwed on. If we get in a sticky situation, are you going to betray your team and run away, or are you someone who can keep calm? And then she says, well, Burnham here can corroborate. I'm very creative when it comes to stressful situations. Me and my mum managed to fight off Jared Leto and cut off a guy's fingers. All the while, I was in a diabetic shock and about to go into a coma, but we still managed to do it.
Sure. I mean, she wasn't that instrumental to all that happening, but okay. She went into a coma and got punched in the face.
Yes, but Klaus doesn't know that.
Sure, okay, fine.
And so he says, okay, I'll give you the money that you need now. When the job is ready to do, I'll give you a call. If you change your mind, I'll need the money back plus interest. And if you can't pay it, that wouldn't be very good for you at all.
Okay.
So, you know, he might come and kneecap her or something if she can't pay it.
Sure.
Yeah, so he gives her the money. She goes and gets the treatment for her child. Everything's great. Child's healthy. It's been a few weeks.
Oh, so she's just waiting for a call. It's like at some point you'll need to do us a favour. Is that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, they didn't have something going right away, but, you know, they've got something that they're planning, a break-in or whatever.
Okay, and they need a safe cracker. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That day eventually comes, and so she comes in, goes back to this warehouse, they have a bit of a team meeting.
A team meeting?
Well, you've seen Baby Driver, that's
yeah,
how
it's just a very formal term for a gangland enterprise, but sure, okay. Who's doing the minutes, you know?
Criminal business is still business.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, they talk about the whole thing that they're going to do, and they're basically just going to break into this person's house, crack open their safe, and steal everything that's in it.
Sure.
They found this person that they know to be quite rich, and you know they've managed to find blueprints of their house at City Hall or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it's all great.
So they're breaking into another mansion, essentially.
Sorry?
They're breaking into a mansion. Okay.
Yes. Until they say what the address is.
Oh, I see.
Sarah recognises the address as her mother's address.
Oh, she's still living there? Or is it the new place?
Different house. Or
something. Okay. It's not the same as the one with the panic room. It's the new address of her mother. Okay.
A new house with a new panic room and a new safe.
Okay.
And so now Kristen Stewart has to steal from Jodie Foster.
Oh, what a turn of events.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much where I've got.
Okay.
Where I've got.
No, that's a good premise. So she's got to.
But you can see what's going to happen from there. It's basically going to be the same film again, but Kristen Stewart's breaking into the panic room.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you think Forrest Whitaker's role in this is to kind of try and mediate? And because he's like the conscience of the film. Is he gonna maybe in the end bring them back together, like reconcile Jodie Foster and Kristen Stewart, and maybe they can double cross the criminals?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
Okay, maybe. So she's part of a group that are breaking into this house, right? And the mum's got something valuable that they need, like money or whatever. But she doesn't want to. She's like, okay, I'll do it because my mother abandoned me when my kid was dying. So screw her. So she's got motivation to not care that her mum's about to get robbed, but she maybe doesn't want her to get killed. She's still a mom, and maybe also she doesn't want to be seen. She doesn't want it to be known that she's been part of this. So. Maybe that adds a lot of tension. Like she absolutely cannot be seen on camera. She cannot be exposed as being part of this. And then obviously at some point Jodie Foster's going to see her, and it's going to be like ultimate betrayal.
I think that maybe what it could be like. So she has mask on for the whole robbery. Mm-hmm. They get in. They try many things, but
she's
Jodie
Raoul.
Basically, yeah.
Maybe she goes by the code name Raoul.
Yeah, but Jodie Foster just won't come out of the panic room.
Sure.
Nothing will get her out.
Mm-hmm.
Like they try everything. I mean, the panic room is airtight as well, so they can't gas it. The phone line works and everything. It's all completely set up. So the only way that they can't think of anything to get her out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kristen Stewart's like, I might be able to get her out.
I
Put
see.
me in front of a camera.
Okay, that's good.
Takes her mask off and says, "Mum, it's me. This is the situation.
Yeah.
You're going to leave, or else your daughter and your grandchildren are going to get bumped off."
Okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that. That's a good that's a good tense situation. So then obviously Jodie Foster's gonna come out reluctantly, but yeah, somehow I think they need to team up and double cross the criminals.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how to finish it, to be honest, but that's the idea at least.
Yeah, no, it's Jodie Foster's very capable. I think she'll find a way. She'll have a good. Oh, maybe there's been some upgrades. Yeah, okay. Maybe there's been some upgrades to the panic room. It's 20 years later. Technology's moved on.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some upgrades that she knows about, but that the criminals haven't banked on. So what do you think could have been done to the panic room that she could use to turn it against them now?
Okay, like what?
Like a surprise. I'm thinking of like a surprise reveal. Like surprise, you thought it was a panic room, but it's also got machine guns, but not. I don't know. I don't know how that would work, but
yeah, just guns point out the wall. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I know. Okay.
The door's electrified.
Maybe. No, I was thinking it's got a new feature where you can, because can they see her at any point?
No, they couldn't. In the first one, they couldn't see Jodie Foster. No.
Okay, so maybe it's got a secret exit point. So they think she's still in the room, and she's using a remote intercom to make it sound like she's still in the room, but actually she's been out for a while, and so she manages to surprise them.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
But maybe Kristen Stewart does know about this, but she doesn't tell the other criminals, and she kind of helps her mom to get the upper hand.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe, she does a little deal, just like, hey, I can get you out of the situation, but pay me.
Well, maybe Jodie Foster's like, I'm doing this for my grandson, not you.
Yeah, sure.
That makes sense. If they've had this terrible estrangement, and maybe Kristen Stewart's been this massive fuck up for years, and it's just she's all out of patience. But yeah, she obviously didn't know when she hung up the phone that it was about her grandson. So maybe she didn't even know she had a grandson. Maybe that's how strange they were. So that's a whole reveal.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
that works. I like it.
Yeah, but I think Forrest Whitaker should somehow still be a good guy. Like he should still even if he just has a moment of heroism at the end, like the original. Or maybe he ends up getting arrested again at the end. All the other criminals get killed, and he still ends up being the one who gets arrested and sent to jail again. He's like, for God's sake, every time.
Yeah,
these white ladies every time.
But yeah, that is Panic Room 2. I don't know, The Great Switcheroo or something.
Panic Room 2, The Great Switcheroo. No, it's good. I mean, it sounds very like light-hearted based on a plot that involves dying children and estranged families. And I'm trying to think, what else could you call it? Panic Room 2.0, like, because the Panic Room itself has been upgraded.
Yeah.
I don't know, Panic Room 2.0 or Switcheroo, whatever. They work. In a way.
Panic Room 2, The Great Switcheroo.
The Great Switcheroo. I can see it now.
It.
I can see the billboards. that would have like Jodie Foster and then Kristen Stewart on a poster like this, like.
Yeah, it would, like the Home Alone face.
Yeah, exactly. It would be so stupid. But let's just go all in on that. Right.
Yeah.
Cool. No, very good. I think that's actually very plausible as sequels go. And I like the abrupt, because at first when you were talking about like, oh, the kid has cancer, it got very character based. I was like, oh, they're estranged, the kid has cancer. I was like, is this going to come around to a Panic Room at any point, or is this just a family drama? Because it's not like the characters are that interesting. But no, you pulled it around and it became a Panic Room film. So yeah. I mean, my idea was largely set up, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
these kind of films, once you get past the setup, it's you're just letting it play out. So
yeah.
Okay, I like it. I'm on board. Okay.
Right, what have you got for me then?
I have this week. Once again, as I often do, I have gone for, rather than one big idea, because I found it hard to come up with like a long narrative because the film's essentially quite simple. So I've gone for 3 short premises instead.
Okay.
So 3 premises, and we can just talk through them a little bit and see what we come up with. So the first one is, I'm thinking, the golden rule of sequels, especially for action films, is same thing but bigger, louder, more. Yeah. So last time was a Panic Room. Now, is it a Panic House? I'm thinking of like an entire house that just kind of like steel doors and just like surround it, and it just goes into complete lockdown.
Brilliant. Okay, yeah.
Or it could be Panic Boat.
Panic Boat, yeah.
Or Panic Plane.
See, now I'm not sure about Panic House. Not really sure if that works.
No, I don't really think
Panic Room is like someone's in the building. Oh God, damn it! Where am I going to hide? My Panic Room.
Yeah. But
a Panic Boat or a Panic Plane. Now those ones, what I'm thinking is a smaller boat comes out of the boat.
There's a little boat hidden in the boat.
Comes out of the plane.
Okay, yeah. Like a little one-man little flyer comes out of a giant Boeing 747.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking it'd be more like that's interesting. I was thinking it could be a little bit more like maybe on like a very important plane, like a VIP plane for a celebrity, a private jet, or even like Air Force One or something. They install a Panic Room in the plane. So it's the same film, but it's like the Panic Room is on a plane.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'm just trying to think. What if the plane gets damaged and is going to crash? What's going to happen to the Panic Room?
There is the question.
Okay, I think that panic room within a plane is great, but it needs an ejector system.
It does need to double as an escape pod, yes.
Yes.
But maybe, yeah, so, okay, maybe it is like a celebrity pop star or politician or film star, whatever, who has a private jet that comes with its own panic room / escape pod. Panic pod, let's call it. And maybe some criminals, like Air Force One style, manage to get onto the plane, and maybe they kidnap this person's wife and kids, or someone that they care about, and so they're in the panic room on the panic pod, but ejecting is the last resort because their loved ones are on the other side. So then they just need to figure out a way.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's all that is really. But
I think that one would then have to finish with they somehow trick the criminals to going into the panic room,
and then they eject it.
Yeah.
And it then explodes into a fiery blast or lands in the sea or something.
It lands in the top of a volcano.
Perfect, yes. Why not? It just happens to be flying over one. Yeah, great. Yeah, I was definitely thinking of that as like a sequel, like Speed 2 Cruise Control. Take a good, smart premise for an original film and just make it stupid as all hell and stick it on another vehicle.
Yeah.
So that was that basically. My second one's probably the most serious. It's quite similar to yours in some ways, but it's a different twist. So in this one, I'm thinking Forrest Whitaker, end of the original movie, in jail. So this movie picks up 20 years later, and he's out. He's served his time, and he wants to go back on the straight and narrow. He's not going to become a criminal again. He's just but he's kind of not got a lot of options because he's he's been behind bars for 20 years. He hasn't got a lot of connections anymore, so his prospects are pretty low. But soon after he gets out, maybe takes a job as like a janitor or something really like just quite mundane, just to low profile, just to kind of try and make an honest living. So he's doing that. He's just trying to keep his head down, and then he gets contacted by Jodie Foster, who asks him for help, and she's kind of tracked him down. Maybe she heard he'd been let out of jail, and she asks for his help because Kristen Stewart was so traumatized by the events of the original film that she's now grown up and become a paranoid shut-in who lives full time in her own panic room.
All right.
So
Okay.
she's so damaged by what happened in the original film. So then she asks Forrest Whitaker to try and help her to get her daughter out of the panic room. So rather than trying to get in, they're trying to get someone to come out.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it's like she wants him to like break in because she won't let anyone in anymore. And then Jodie Foster's trying to just, I don't know, get her to a facility for help or whatever. But then maybe it turns into a bit of a negotiation as well.
Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of all out
like
there.
that.
Yeah, that's the kind of the more like that could be a thing. That could be a real movie kind of thing. But I don't know really where to go with it. But my third idea, and I think this is my favourite, is inspired by. So last week when I told you what film we were doing, you got a little bit mixed up and you thought it was going to be like The Room.
Yeah.
You said, "Is this as bad as The Room?" You said, "Am I going to need to drink through this because it sounds like The Room?" I was like, "No, it does. It's not The Room. It's a proper film with real actors and real directors." But what if it was? What if it was The Panic Room, as made by the casting creators of The Room, Johnny Wiseau and Greg Sestero and that crew?
Sure.
So I'm thinking this is a direct sequel to the film The Room.
Okay.
So I'm thinking what happened is Johnny, the Tommy Wiseau character from The Room. For those who've not seen The Room, it's a classic. Tommy Wiseau, a great actor, a great thespian. He is in the movie. There's not much plot to The Room, but essentially he is betrayed by everyone he ever loves, including his beloved girlfriend Lisa and his best friend.
Quick little spoiler alert right here.
Sorry, spoilers for The Room. Yeah, the plot is very important. So he's in the film The Room. He's betrayed by his girlfriend Lisa and his best friend Mark, and he ends up shooting himself at the end, and they're all very sad. And that's the end of The Room. So in this film, Johnny has recovered from his suicide attempt of being shot through the mouth. He just got better.
Yeah.
It's the kind of logic this film would expect. He just got better.
Yeah.
And he's slowly moved on to kind of pick up the pieces of his shattered life. So Tommy Wiseau once again is the hero of this movie, I'm thinking. So he's moved into his new apartment, and he's obviously fantastically wealthy, and it comes with a panic room. But on the first night, 3 criminals break into his room, his house, and try to get into his panic room. And they are, of course, Lisa, Mark, and Denny. So yeah, I'm thinking they're now, because in the first, Denny is his strangely underage friend who likes to watch him and Lisa have sex, if you remember, who is in mysterious debt to some drug dealers in the original film.
Yeah.
Do you remember all these details?
Briefly.
It's been like 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm thinking...
No, I do remember it, actually, yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking that maybe... maybe they need money for this drug dealer now, so they're just trying to steal it from Tommy.
Yeah.
Basically, my idea for this is that I really like the idea that Tommy Wiseau is in the panic room, and those three are trying to negotiate with him from outside the panic room.
Oh, God, a phone call with Tommy Wiseau would be madness.
Yeah. Him over the intercom, you know. You are tearing me apart, Lisa! Again! Yeah, and that's all I've got there, but I like the idea of that negotiation. Like, of them they've got to try and negotiate Tommy Wiseau out of the panic room, and he obviously is going to outsmart them in the end, because he is the greatest genius of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we're gonna have cameos. Obviously, we're going to have Claudette in there. You know, the mum who's still battling her breast cancer. You know, still fighting all these years on.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, all the other characters. The character who switches actor like twice in the film, they can come back and switch actors twice again.
Yeah,
there's got to be some football.
Does the blowjob face?
Blowjob face guy. He's got to come back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lots of random blokes in tuxedos playing football. You know, just it's all there. It's all there, but also through the medium of panic room.
Yeah.
So that's the panic room.
Great, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
So yeah, that's what I came up with.
All right. Well, shall I do listener submissions then?
Go for it. Yeah.
Got to find it. It was a while ago I put it.
There's not 68 this week, are there?
No, there's a fair few, but not 68.
Good.
230! No, I'm joking.
Harry, my heart. You just took years off me. Jesus Christ.
Oh, listeners, if you could see John's face.
Holy shit. I have to edit all those. When you read out like 30 or 40 listener submissions, I have to like painstakingly edit them, so... 200, my God, no.
Okay. Jess Ramirez Medina says, Panic Room 2. Jodie Foster is locked out of her house while her daughter, who came to visit, fell asleep, and she sees the bandits that are trying to break in. So it's a race to see who gets into the house first. Yeah, so Jodie Foster locked out of the house. Yeah, I missed that bit.
Okay, so that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so she's trying to break into her own house.
Out the house.
Okay.
The criminals are trying to get in. The daughter has fallen asleep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Matthew Penhall says, Anxiety Loft.
Anxiety Loft, nice. Yeah. Is that like a nightmare room situation?
I guess, yeah. Colin Spenrath says, Muppets Panic Room.
Yes. Full yes.
The
Take
Great
my money.
Muppet Escaper.
Yeah, I would love that. Yes.
It's exactly the same, but with Muppets.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster plays herself, while Gonzo narrates the whole thing while he's locked out of his apartment.
100% yes. Absolutely. Yeah. On board. Although I would want Jodie Foster to be replaced by Miss Piggy, obviously.
Yeah.
If you're going to go Muppet, go full Muppet. Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew B. Byro says, Chill Tent.
Chill Tent, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Everything's Okay Room.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it's from Mike Caddick.
Just a room that makes everyone feel like everything's fine. A few like scented candles, bit of nice new age music in the background.
Bruce Smith says Isolation House.
Mm-hmm.
They've been told to stay at home, but keep trying to come up with more creative reasons to be out and about.
Ah, okay.
Rob Robinson says Panic Room 2, More Panic. In typical horror movie fashion, it has the exact same plot as the first, but there are 2 panic rooms, twice as many burglars. Oh, and Jodie Foster shaves her head.
It's an odd detail at the end, but sure. Yeah. I like the idea of 2 panic rooms like next opposite each other. They just keep running in between them, right?
Yeah. And finally, Jack Evans says the plot is exactly the same, except Jared Leto is trying to get them to join his cult.
Lots of like Jared Leto cult ideas down there.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing he's doing now. Or?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. He's not a Scientologist, is he? He's so the type who would be though, allegedly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, even slightly.
Yeah. Okay, some good ideas there. I have some as well.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Harris said, Panic Pants. A woman is forced to put on real clothes after 35 days in quarantine.
Yep, I like it.
That's all of us in a few months' time. Alex Garcia said, Panda Room. What's black and white and right behind you? This is my favourite, I think. Adam Commissara said, Panic Roomba. You hide behind a defensive vacuum cleaner robot who defends you from home invaders.
Yeah, very
You know,
good.
the Roomba, the little things that go. across the floor.
Remote Hoover, yeah.
Dan Lebrecht said panic tomb. So that is a panicky situation. You get buried alive.
Or it could be like it's set in the olden days.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's set in like ancient Egypt or something.
Oh, I see. So it's like a pyramid.
Yeah, like, oh god, all shit's going down. Quick, I better jump into my panic tomb.
Into my pre-built tomb. Yeah, okay, that works.
It's got everything I need.
Haley Kasperick said Parasite. Not entirely dissimilar movies, obviously, yeah. Wade Goodenberger, I don't know if that's his real name, said a prequel called Panic Womb, in which Kristen Stewart is terrified of being born. Jack McCarter, there's a lot of puns here. Jack McCarter said Panic Loom. Jodie Foster and her child are attacked by vicious intruders, and the only way to escape is to weave a rug. Panic Loom, a loom, you know.
Nice, yeah.
And finally, so over on Twitter, Cinema Adventure Pod, at Cinema Adventure Pod, said, it's about a man who's putting himself inside a bunker and is convinced that the world is going to end. He's super smug about it, and then COVID hits, and we realise that people like this aren't afraid, they enjoy these situations. Eventually his family leaves, and he stays there alone forever.
Oh,
so I think that's just about like smug survivalists, and yeah. And finally, Blokebusters at Blokebusters says, Panic Rooms, a documentary about a hotel in the heart of New York trying to stay open during the start of the COVID-19 outbreak. So, I guess it's, a documentary about hotels. Sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Very good. Okay. So thank you everybody for those sequel ideas. We ask for your listener submissions every week, a few days before we record, by putting posts out on Facebook and Twitter, where you can post your ideas. So make sure you like and follow our pages if you don't want to miss out. To listen to more episodes of Beyond the Box Set, you can subscribe and browse our back catalogue on any podcasting platform, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and many others, all of which we would also appreciate a nice little 5-star review if you have the time. It really helps us out. As mentioned, we're also available on Patreon, which is exclusively for the people who would rate us 5 stars or more if they could. You can find all those links in the description below or our brand spanking new website, beyondtheboxset.com. And next week, Harry, it's a you choice.
Yes, it is. So, to go in keeping with this trapped in a room theme that we're doing, I guess. To be honest, this is the film that I thought you were going to pick this week.
Okay.
Because I think we had a conversation about what we were going to pick, and we didn't actually say what we're going to pick, but I think you said something like, I think we're both thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I thought Panic Room. I thought it was really obvious, but I didn't realise you hadn't even heard of it. So
I've got a way more obvious one for you, John.
Okay, hit me.
Room.
Oh, of course. Oh, okay. Great, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, join us next week for Room. That's going to be...
interesting, yeah.
It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, a real feel-good comedy classic there you picked, Harry, but sure, let's see how it goes.
Oh, we can make it interesting.
We'll it's a challenge, definitely. We need to push ourselves.
I've always meant to go back to this film. I remember enjoying it quite a lot.
It was a very good film, yeah, as far as I remember. So
yeah,
cool, okay,
Oscar-winning film.
It is indeed. Cool. Well, I look forward to it. So, listeners, join us next week for Room.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Thank you for listening, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Put him on the phone, bitch.